Hi YouTube fam, so this is Nurse Vonnie Vlogs. I'm back with another video. I actually am at a restaurant. I'm getting ready to eat, but there's a wait. I'm eating by myself, and so I said let me go ahead and record this video. Alright, so today's video is about what I used to study for the NCLEX after taking it 16 years after I actually graduated. It's not going to be a long, extensive video because honestly I did not use a lot of materials. So for starters, when I first started studying, honestly, I use YouTube. So as if you all watched my other video, watch the other video about how I took my NCLEX after such a long time. I told you that I was waiting for my authorization to test. And so I was a little bit afraid to actually study too much. It was just fear, you know, but I didn't want to just kind of get into it and I didn't get the authorization. But once I actually got the authorization to test, I went on YouTube and I looked up Mark Kimek. I had been hearing so much about him. Now, he has 12 videos and they are outdated for sure. I think I've heard that he has more up-to-date videos. I don't think they're on YouTube yet. Or if they are, I haven't seen them. But I went on YouTube and I found the Mark Kimek videos. There are 12 in total. And I went through those videos. Some I watched over and over and over again. After taking the NCLEX, even though his videos are old, the ones that are on YouTube are outdated. I'm sorry, y'all, if I keep looking off in a parking lot, you know, at the restaurant. So if somebody walk past, it kind of catches my eye. Anyway, a lot of that information is still very valuable. Most importantly, his priority and delegation video. I learned with Mark Kimek, he does teach you information, but what I love about his videos is he teaches you how to test. So if you know, or if you've heard anything about the NCLEX, if you watched any YouTube videos about the NCLEX, we all know that it's not just a straight question and answer type of test. It's what they call a computer adaptive test. So basically the more answers you get right, the little bit harder the test is going to get. The more you get wrong, they're going to kind of make it a little bit easier, trying to see, you know, if you know your information. But aside from that, it's not a 2 + 2 = 4 test. It's a more so like a 3 right answer. So you got 2 + 2 = 4, 3 + 1 = 4, 5 - 1 = 4. Which one is the best answer for this particular situation? What is priority? What is, in this situation, although you have 3 right answers, which is the best answer for the question that I'm asking you, or for the situation that you find yourself in as a nursing professional? So that's the type of test it is. So you can't just study material and then kind of memorize it and then go test it. You're going to fail. I love Mark Kimek's videos because he teaches you how to test. He teaches you, you know, how to determine what's priority. He teaches you to pay attention to questions, because this for sure I saw on my NCLEX exam. In this situation, what is the best answer? Or what is the first thing you would do in this situation? And so you do have to be able to kind of critically think. So I said all that to say Mark Kimek, #1, is what I use. I watched those videos. Number 12, priority and delegation, is amazing. If you don't watch anything else, watch that video. Watch it over and over again. He also kind of gives you like a mnemonic or a way to memorize like the medicines, like all the pills are most of the pills are blood pressure, hypertension medication. He just gives you some really, really good facts, and it's free to watch. So why not? So #1, Mark Kimek. Also, I went and purchased the Saunders book. I think it was edition 9. I'll put if that's not the right one that I use, I'll put a little disclaimer on the screen because I had watched, y'all, I binge watch YouTube. I was like, what else can I use without having to spend another $200-300 to take my test? And so everybody was kind of swearing by Saunders. You know, you'll pass if you use Saunders. It's a cheap book. So I went on Amazon and I purchased the Saunders book. I think I paid $49.99 for it. It was the newest edition. And I sat down and I think I went through the book probably maybe a week straight. And I was like, you know what, it's just too broad. Like, it's good study material, but it's just so broad. Like, I needed something to just hone in on the systems, hone in on information that I needed to study, rather than starting, from the beginning of the book and going all the way to the end. Because a lot of videos that I watched, people were saying I went through the chapters and I dated each chapter, and I was determined to finish these 4 chapters by this date, these 4 by this date, and they kind of just went through and it worked for them. So that's another tip I'll say. You have to find what works for you. I can tell you all day, okay, I use 1, 2, and 3, and you get 1, 2, and 3, and it does nothing for you. But just because I had a lot of comments on that particular video asking what I used to study, that's why I'm doing this video. Bought the Saunders book, tried to use it for maybe a week, and I just realized it wasn't working for me. So it kind of was like $50 that I had, I guess, wasted. But if I find, I might put it on like OfferUp, or someone that wants it, I'll give it away. I wouldn't charge anyone for it or anything like that. Saunders is, I tried to use it. That didn't work for me. Maybe if you can rent it at your library or something like that, maybe try it, because it's good information, but it's just so much information. I needed something to hone in on, at least give me something close that's to the NCLEX. Don't just teach me all of the systems, everything there is to know. So Saunders was number 2, but I can't say that helped me at all. In addition to that, other YouTube videos or YouTubers that I watch, NCLEX High Yield, that was amazing. That was, look up NCLEX High Yield. Now, his program is quite expensive. I think it's between $400 and $600, but I didn't pay for it. Now, what he does offer, Dr. Vishon or Dr. Zishon, they call him Dr. Z. And he has, on a lot of his videos, he starts his videos off with testimonials. So people that have gone through his program, and it's mostly geared towards RNs. But every now and then I would basically, so I binge watched, because when he first started, he did free videos. He did podcasts. And so I was watching a YouTube video, and they led me to his channel, and so I kind of just went through the podcast. And then as time went on, he would have like testimonials. He would have people that came on and went through his program and passed the test, and then they would tell their testimony, basically. And so back to the program. So he has one that's fairly expensive. He has one where he'll like literally work with you one-on-one, or he'll designate somebody to work with you one-on-one for a certain period of time. The good thing about his program, I believe, is if you pay for it, he will work with you until you pass. That's amazing. Listening to some of the videos or the testimonials, they were like that, when they were struggling with information or they just couldn't get it, they just didn't understand. That Dr. Z or his other colleagues, they would call that person and work. That's amazing. So I believe it's well worth it. I had just spent so much money. I didn't have a lot of money, and I just could not afford, or maybe I could have sacrificed. I just didn't want to pay another $400 or $600. But he had, on Wednesdays, if you sign up, go to one of his YouTube channels, and there's a link under the description where you can sign up for free weekly Zooms, where I think for about 1 to 2 hours, he takes like 1,000 people, and he just goes over different topics. And he just goes and he teaches. He is another excellent YouTuber, and he teaches you how to test. What's first? What's priority? What's the best thing to do in this situation? And he has a method. It's something called The Method. Then he has something else called Ask Laugh, where he says, we were taught in the beginning that with every question is pretty much airway, breathing, and airway, ABCs. I forgot, y'all. I know that's horrible. I forgot the ABCs. But he said, but it's not always like that. There are some times where airway is not the most important. But he did ask laugh, and he was like, if you go through a question and you choose one of these, I think it's 8 or 7 or 8 things, if any one of these are first or are the main topic in a question, and you choose it, you will win almost 90% of the time. And so yeah, and so check him out. NCLEX High Yield, Dr. Zishan. He is on YouTube. He does have a program. I was looking at one of them, and they do have, like, for, I don't know how many people that they accept, but they have like a program where they, it's almost like a scholarship. I guess I'm sure you would have to like talk to him. You would have to probably tell him your situation, and then they would determine if you would qualify to take the program for free. But I'm sure there's only a limited amount of slots for that. So him, but again, he has like so many free podcasts. If you go to NCLEX High Yield, you search for that, and you either filter it to oldest to newest, and you will see podcast after podcast. He goes over systems, he goes over diseases, disease processes, and yeah, he was amazing. So number 3, Dr. Z from NCLEX High Yield, I used that, and it was amazing as well. Some of the information helped me on my NCLEX. I told y'all a lot of stuff I didn't pay for. Number 4, Nexus Nursing. She's also a YouTuber. Now what she does is she goes over questions. She'll do like 30 minutes and she'll just ask questions, and then she'll give you the answer to it, and then she'll give you the rationale behind it. She's amazing as well. She don't play. Like she's telling the question, and then, you know, she'll go over the answers, and then she'll give you the right answer, and then she'll start from A to D or A to E or whatever and tell you why A through C is wrong and why D is right. And if it's like a stupid answer, she'll be like, really? Like, really? Why would you choose this answer? So she's kind of funny and comical, but she's another good one. Nexus Nursing. As far as actual programs, so one of the programs that I used that was also free was Union Test Prep. And by programs, I mean that it gave you NCLEX questions. So uniontestprep.com, it is a free platform, I'll say, and you can go in. They'll give you a certain amount of questions, and you'll just go in, and they'll give you assessments as well, and you'll just take question after question after question and answer them. So I use that as well. All right. The main thing that I used, I know everybody swears by UWorld. I have nothing against UWorld. Matter of fact, I think if you go to them, they give you like 25 free practice questions, and I did the free ones. I went to UWorld and I did the 25 free ones for the LPN program, but I never paid it. I use Archer Review. I don't know what people are saying about it. And the way that I found out about them, again, is by YouTube. I was watching, I think the young lady's YouTube is Frankie. I'll put her YouTube channel. Thank you, Frankie, for mentioning Archer. She used it to take her LPN, and she was saying the same thing. She was like, I don't think she had anything against UWorld, but she just used Archer and it helped her. And so I went and I checked them out, and they have higher programs, but they had, I think mine was 60 days, and I only had to pay $25. And I had like an unlimited amount of assessments. You get like 700 and something questions. I'll try to put the details up here. And you can take assessments. So basically your assessments are 75 questions, and you can do the computer adaptive test way. That's another good thing about them is you can actually set it up just like it was the NCLEX. And so you'll do the CAT, they call it the CAT method. And so as many questions as you get right, they'll kind of make it a little bit harder. And then if you start getting a lot of questions wrong, they'll make it they'll do it just like the NCLEX. And you can take assessments over and over all the way until you get down to your less than 75 questions. So then they won't let you take any more assessments. $25, 60 days. You can go back. They'll tell you can do it also where you take the test and the rationales are not there. Like if you don't want to slow down, if you want to just see what you really know. Or, you know, you want to take it to where you see the rationale for every question. So what I did is when I first started studying, I would do the rationales. So I would go through each question. Some of them I wrote down. Some of them I took screenshots of. And I would especially, of course, the questions that I knew that would, because some nursing questions are kind of common sense, you know, you don't have to write it down. I didn't too much write those down, but the ones that I had no idea, and there were a lot that I had no idea, I would look at the rationale of the answer, why that one was right, and then I would look at the others that were wrong, why they were wrong. And they have excellent Archer review. They have excellent rationales as to why an answer is right or why an answer is wrong. If it was something that I like, a disease process, like tetralogy of Fallot, which is a newborn disease, it's like 4 different issues in one. I would actually go and look up the disease or go look up the condition myself and look more in depth into it. And so, yeah, Archer review, that was the main assessment that I used. That was the main, in addition to Mark Kimek. I am gun-ho on Mark Kimek. His way of teaching you how to test, him and NCLEX High Yield, Dr. Zishan, use them. I don't think that you will go wrong if you use them. However, again, if you feel like that you want to use UWorld, you know, you feel like that, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but there's so many reviews on UWorld that kind of swear by them, use them. Matter of fact, if you watch my video and I told you about one of my ex-co-workers had taken her RN state boards after I think she had graduated with her BSN probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And when she went to study, that's what she used. She said UWorld was it. That's what helped me. And that's good. You know, nothing against UWorld. I had just spent so much money and I just didn't want to put out the extra money. So Archer review, try it out. If anything, if you spend the $25 for Archer and you say, you know what, this ain't for me, then at least you really wouldn't have wasted anything, and you still can use the assessments. That's what I love as well. I think with UWorld, even the cheapest, you only get 1 or 2 assessment, but with this one you can take unlimited assessments. So yeah, it was Archer, y'all. I also watch a lot of simplenursing.com on YouTube. I watched a lot of his. He was pretty good as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much. So I used Mark Kimek, and I saved a lot of his. What I did was I found somebody that had all 12. At first I couldn't find all 12 in one. I would just, if I found one, I would save it in my folder, like NCLEX. You know how on YouTube you can actually make different folders, like you have a watch later. I made like recipes and different things. I made a folder for NCLEX reviews, and I would just find one and then I would save it. Now sometimes you will have somebody that'll post a video, whether it be Mark Kimek or whatever, and then they'll make it private. If they do that, then it's going private even if you got it saved. But the person that I use, and if you need it, just comment on the video, and if I can do it, I will send it to you if you want to try it. But it's all over YouTube. I saved all 12, and I would just, when I was cleaning up, and that's another thing, not just take the time to study, y'all, when you're sitting somewhere quietly. When you're driving down the street, if you're using YouTube to study, play it in your ear. And you're cleaning, I would be cleaning up and I would turn YouTube on my TV and I would let it play in my ear. You're not going to grasp all the information. Of course, you need time to sit down and study. But while you're preparing to take the NCLEX, listen as often as you can. That's another thing as far as my study time. So when I really got down to the nitty gritty, so I had to be to work at 9 a.m. I would wake up between 4:30 and 5:30. I would, of course, get myself together. I always spend time with the Lord. So I would take time to read my Bible. I would take time and pray, spend time with the Lord. Once that was done, I would get my nursing book and whatever notes, my nursing notebook that I wrote my notes in, get either my iPad, because I have my iPad in like a case that's made like a laptop, or my computer, my phone, whatever I was using. And I would listen to whatever YouTube video that I was going to listen to for that day. And then I would go down and answer questions. It was that pattern pretty much every single day. Now, there were days, and you're going to have days where you're like, you know what? I can't, not today. And that's okay. Don't burn yourself out. Another tip that Dr. Zishan gave, he recommended that you would do over the amount of questions that will be on the NCLEX. So for instance, I think for the LPN, it's a maximum now, I think, of 180, 160 or 180, whatever the maximum is. He would recommend you would do that amount of questions each day. And then he would say, like, break them up. So do 4 40s or 5 35 questions at a time. Just make sure that it's throughout the day. Or sometimes he would say, just sit down and go through the questions, so that you would kind of develop the ability to not kind of get frazzled. Or you don't want to just, like, doing your questions, you only study 30 questions, and then on the day of the NCLEX, you have the whole 180 or 235, and you can't take it. You're stressed out, you're frustrated because you've only done 50 questions at a time. So he was telling us to build your endurance with the questions. And I would try to do 75 a day. That would be the goal. And a lot of times I would do like 30 in the morning. I was 35 in the morning, and then 30 in the evening, 35 in the evening, however it is. Y'all, I'm not good at math. But I would try to do some in the morning and then some in the evening every day, or, you know, give yourself a break when you can. So yeah, those are my tips, y'all. Make sure that you're studying as often as possible. Write down what you don't know. Write your notes. If you're going through whatever platform you're using and you come across information that you don't know, don't just listen to it. Write it down. Go look it up. Look at the rationales. Look at the reasons of why the answer is right. Look at the rationales of why the answer is wrong. You don't, want to get into the test and they ask a question and you have memorized, all right, this is the reason why such and such and such a thing. And then you get to the answer, or you get to the question, and it's asking you, what are not the symptoms of, then maybe they'll say, what are the symptoms of a myocardial infarction? All right, well, all the symptoms of a myocardial infarction, a heart attack, All right, well, the next question you may get to, may say, what out of the answers that are listed, what are not the symptoms of tetralogy of Fallot? And you don't know. You know what the symptoms are, but you don't know what are not. What is not, what is not indicated for this particular condition. And you might say, well, just the opposite. But sometimes you might have a set of 4 that has one right thing in it, and you think that that's correct, but the other things could be detrimental. It could kill the patient. So, it's just study. Spend time studying, and not just a few minutes, take out, if you have to. It was better for me to study early than to study late. I would rather get up early and get what I need to do done as far as studying before my day gets started than go to work, get home, and then I'm tired. My mind isn't focused. My brain isn't registering what I'm studying. So yeah, find out what time works best for you and take out 1 to 2 hours. Now, I've heard and seen people, they take 8 hours a day. I don't think I could have done 8 hours a day. I'm not sure. But whatever works for you, develop your own system. Check out YouTube. If you're like me and you couldn't afford getting UWorld or whatever, paying Dr. Z for his program that was $600, then there are other resources. Thank God that there are other resources that you can use and you can do as well. As I stated on my other video, I took my test and 75 questions, I was done. So yeah, that's it. I hope that helps. I hope somebody would decide to try out Archer Review and see if it worked for you. And then if it doesn't, and also it's set up like the NCLEX as well. It's blue and white. So yeah, just try it out. And even Archer, they have like practice questions. YouTube, I tell you, they can have you feeling like you can build your own house from scratch. So yeah, I thank God for YouTube. But that's what I used to prepare myself. Of course, I prayed. I don't mean to put that, I guess you saved the best for last. And I believe God. I said, Lord, you made my brain. And I don't care how much has changed since the last time I was in school. There is no knowledge that man can gain that God doesn't know anything about. He is the God that gives man knowledge and understanding and wisdom and intelligence. I said, Lord, intelligence comes from you. And so you're able to bless my mind so that I can understand and comprehend, or be able to speak out the information that I, not only just to remember it, but to actually understanding what I'm reading. You can do that for me. And he did, y'all. After 16 years, I passed it. I'm working. I'm currently working at a nursing home. That's another video. Gosh. And I'm supposed to start working at a hospital at the end of this month, part-time, because I just wanted to get as much experience in as I could. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. I hope it was helpful to somebody. Y'all join me on my journey. It only gets better from here. Like the video, comment. I like to respond. If you look at the videos, anybody that has responded, unless it was spam, it was some spam on my other one. I went ahead and responded because I like to have a dialogue. And subscribe, of course, it's free. You know, we want to grow, and we want the channel to grow, and we want to share our experiences. I want to hear about yours. If it's something that I didn't answer for you, let me know, and then I'll try to either make a video or I'll come on the comment section, and I will. All right, y'all, be blessed. Thank you for watching. I hope you made it to the end. Take care. Till next time.